Hello, Wastelanders. It's Jewel Smith playing Fallout 4, where I am Fiona, the general of the Minutemen. But at this point, I am level 134, and I've completed just about everything there is to do in this game. Completed the main storyline, explored the Commonwealth, done all of the add-ons, etc., etc. So I am no longer wearing my general's outfit as I was in most of my previous videos. And with me, as always, is me Corazon Hancock, running around here somewhere. Today we are going to take a tour of the Mechanist Lair. There he is.
Too many miles on the road.
Wearing his top hat from Nuka World. And his Stars and Stripes bandana. We're going to start here at County Crossing. I've already done a settlement tour of County Crossing. You can check that out in my settlement tour playlist. And my previous settlement tour video was of Spectacle Island, because that was the last mainland, main game story settlement that I had unlocked. And now it's time for me to show you the settlements from the expansions. So the first expansion that I added was Automatron. There's one of my provisioners.
One that ends without an empty stomach.
They all wear ballistic weave mailman uniforms. But Mechanist Lair is not far from County Crossing. In fact, it's not far from a lot of places. It's very centrally located. It's not far from Nordhagen Beach, which I've already toured. It's not far from Bunker Hill, which I've also already toured. So it's really centrally located, and it's not far from the railroad or Good Neighbor. And then there's Diamond City. And this is all going to be important, because basically what I've done in the Mechanist Lair is I have made it a factory. One of the reasons for doing that is because you can't grow food there. Now, I've heard it said online, some people have said that they can move people, human beings, into the Mechanist Lair. And so long as you have a surplus of food connected to the lair from other settlements, they'll be fine. They'll still have food to eat. I have not tried that out. I have not put that little bit of information to the test. But what I have done here is I have 2 robots. That's why it said there were 2 inhabitants. One robot is a security robot. One robot is a provisioner robot. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when I was looking at my Pip-Boy, I'm actually connected the Mechanist Lair to 2 settlements. So I have 2 provisioners connecting to the Mechanist Lair. And the reason for that is because for some reason I seem to have a lot of problems with the Mechanist Lair provisioner getting lost. The one that I had going between County Crossing and the Mechanist Lair seemed to disappear a lot. Now, you can fast travel to this location, and if you fast travel, you'll bypass this little area here. Anyway, but let me look again, I'll show you. Okay, so see, here's the Mechanist Lair, and you see how I've got a provisioner connecting County Crossing, and I have a provisioner connecting it to Nordhagen. I had a human being connecting it from County Crossing to Mechanist Lair, and that connection kept disappearing. So the whole time I was working on this settlement, I kept having a problem with not being connected to all of the other settlements, which means I kept having a problem with materials, because you need, steel and wood and whatever you're using to build things in the settlement, unless you want to bring it all in manually, which I didn't. So I created a robot, and I connected that robot to Nordhagen Beach. And after I did that, I seemed to have no problems with the robot disappearing. This connection here, this provisioner connection. So then I was able to work on Mechanist Lair and get it finished up. But oh my gosh, for a while it was taking me forever to get this place in ship shape because I kept losing my provisioner line and it was making me crazy. Come on, elevator. Anyway, so yeah, so when I added that robot provisioner and moved them, or, you know, connected them, I mean, right now both provisioners are connected, which is rare. Usually just the one going to Nordhagen Beach would be connected. Aw, dang, John, what'd you do? Silly. Anyway, if you fast travel to the Mechanist Lair, you'll show up right here. You don't have to go through the elevator and all that. Alright. But here we go. So Mechanist Lair, it's an unusual settlement in that you cannot build food here, like I said. You can also not build shops. Let me show you. I'll go into workshop mode, and if you look here, that's it. There's no little cash register for you to build shops in this settlement. You also can't build an artillery gun if you've unlocked that. And here under resources, you can't even build a square of dirt. You know, there's a construction element, I guess you could call it, where you can build a garden plot and put food to grow in it, but you can't even do that here. It doesn't even give you the option of doing food at all. See, it just gives you water. Now, I don't know why it gives you water and not anything else, but that's what it does. So it's a little bit weird. So I don't actually have any humans living here other than Isabel Cruz. Spoiler alert. Well, I guess I won't go into too much detail. I'll just say she's part of the Mechanist storyline. If you get Automatron, there's a little storyline that you work your way through, and she's part of that. Well, she still lives here. She's up there. You can see her right there. And she never leaves. She's not actually a resident of the settlement. She never leaves that little cockpit area, or whatever you want to call it, control room area, unless she goes to sleep. And her bedroom is in another part of this building that is not part of the settlement. So she's not technically a resident of the settlement. See, it says 2 people, like I said, and those are the 2 robots that I built to be here. What is my defense score? I have a defense score of 122, which is not quite as high as I usually have in my settlements. But so far, in the entire time I've played this game and had the add-on and had the Mechanist Lair, I've never had it get attacked. So I don't know if that even happens. If it does, let me know, because I'm really curious. I've never had... I've had every other settlement in the game get attacked multiple times. I've never had this one get attacked. But I'm prepared for attacks nonetheless. John, honey, you can leave the elevator. Come on. Alright, so in here, this is the actual border of the settlement. And that's what we usually do, is I usually show you the border. See, there's the green glowing wall. If I leave that, then I'm no longer in the settlement. Okay. So there's one of the robots. I named him Black Knight because I just have this weird little way of naming my robots. Different sorts of things like Galadriel and Kahulin and stuff like that. So this is the Black Knight. And the other robot I built, I just named Provisioner and sent them on their merry way to be the Provisioner. So we may not even see that robot in here. Alright, another border of the settlement is right here, where it says Control Center. If I walk through here, then I'm no longer in workshop mode. And everything back here which I won't explore at length. You can explore that in Automatron, but everything back here is not part of the settlement. See, there's the bed where Isabel sleeps. And there are some facilities back here. There's a robot making workshop. There's your power armor station and your weapons workbench and your armor workbench. So really you don't even need to build those in your settlement if you don't want to. If you don't mind coming up here to do your work. However, they won't be connected. I don't think they're connected to the rest of your settlement. Oh, no, I guess they are. Huh. Alright, so they are connected to the settlement. Good to know. I didn't think they would be. But they seem to be. Alright, so you don't even have to build those out there if you don't want to. But you can't get back in here in workshop mode and rearrange the furniture or do anything like that. Alright, so back out here. Let's go back into workshop mode. The workshop for the settlement is over here. See? Yeah, and it is connected to those workbenches back there. Huh, that's good to know. I didn't realize that. Because I built some out here. See, I've got a weapons workbench here, and the armor workbench there, and the power armor station there, because I don't feel like having to go through the control center past Isabel to go do that. Now, Isabel gives these little side quests. Depending on how you finish Automatron, you may or may not have Isabel, and she gives little side quests after the game's over where you go track down rogue robots. I've also read online that she's supposed to be a merchant, but every time I've ever talked to her, she's never had anything. She's never had the dialogue option to give me anything for sale or anything. So I don't know if that's just messed up in my game or if I did something wrong and messed it up or what. I have no idea. Alright, so the other borders of this settlement, let me show you, are up here. There's various doorways because this settlement, the Mechanist Lair, is actually located inside what was formerly Robotics Technology Facility, RB something something blur blur. And so beyond these doors, outside of the settlement, here, see if I'm in workshop, you can see the green border of the settlement. If I go outside, I can still wander through that giant factory, but I can't interact with it in workshop mode. Okay, so you're just limited. There's lots of entrances and exits in and out of various wings of that robotics technology facility, but none of them are part of your actual settlement. Like this one, I put the police sign there because if you go through here, there's a bunch of jail cells. Anyway, what I did, this is all stuff I hooked up. I hooked up powered doors over every entrance and exit because it just seemed more secure to me to do it that way.
Any day in the week.
And if you've watched any of my settlement tours before, you know that I have a thing about security. I'm into the role-playing. I like the headcanon and the role-playing of Fallout 4, and so I like doing things realistically. That's why this is called my realistic settlement tour. And I'm also doing things, I'm not doing big, huge, crazy builds because I'm on PS4. And yes, now we do have some mods, but I started playing Fallout 4 without mods, and that's the way I continue to play Fallout 4, is without mods. So I don't have big, huge, crazy built settlements. Anyway, there's more entrances and exits up there. I think that's all of them. Yeah, and we'll take a look at all that. But this is basically what you see is what settlement from Mechanist Lair. This big factory space. So I made it into a factory. That's what I did. These walkways with the yellow handrails, these were all here already, and I left them in. There's a few that I removed, like there was one here that I removed and I replaced with this little railing here instead of the other ones. Because it extended all the way out to here and I wanted some empty space here. Anyway, but yeah, so let me take you on an actual tour. We've been running around in here and I was showing you the border. So you enter here, or you know, in theory you can enter through other areas as well. I think, let me show you something here. I think if you go to, where is it? Robco Sales and Service Center, there's actually a way to enter the Mechanist Lair through there. Because one of the exits out of the lair, I was following it, and you can go through all these office buildings and factory areas and yada yada and come out here. So there is, these two are actually connected. That's another way in to the Mechanist Lair. I think you get into it through one of the doorways up there, way up there in that sort of office loft area. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, so now I'm the general of the Minutemen. I did the Minutemen ending, so of course we have Minutemen flags hanging up. And I built several different factory pieces from the Contraptions DLC. So I have the heavy weapons factory here, the heavy weapon forge, I have the energy weapon forge, I have the weapon forge. It's mainly projectile weapons. Over here I have the ammunition plant and the armor forge. And these are all wired up. They're all working. I've manufactured lots of stuff, but that's the way I look at this place, is a big factory for the Minutemen to produce weapons, ammo, and armor. Right? Sure. And I will do videos as part of my Contraptions series. I will do videos for each of these forges, just as I've done videos previously for the food manufacturing machine, and I've done a video for the toy making machine. And I did one for the auto loom, I think it's called, to make clothes. I'll do individual videos for each one of these where I will go into more specifics about what they can make and what materials that you need and how they operate. But just for a general idea, right here is everything that the weapons forges make. These are the ones made by the energy weapons forge. These are the ones made by the heavy weapons machine, and these are the ones made by the regular plain old weapons machine. So this is kind of a little showcase area that shows everything that all the machinery here will make. But like I said, I'll go into that a little bit more in other videos. See, there's all the different ammunition that this one will make. And then up here, I'm in the process of working on displays of all the armor that can be made. The problem with the armor forge is that the pieces it creates are generated randomly. I mean, you can select, okay, I want heavy combat armor, and it'll make heavy combat armor, but whether you get the left arm, the left leg, the right leg, whatever, is all random. So that uses up a lot of materials, and I'm still in the process of trying to get complete sets for each one of those. So I'll show those off in another video. But yeah, so that's what I decided to do. I made this into a big factory. Now in my mind, in my head canon, okay, one, I would flip the switch on this Black Knight so he would stop yammering. My God, the whole time I was working on this place, he was just yammering his mouth off, and you get on my last nerve, Black Knight. You need to shut your face. You need to disable your vocal program, okay? Hush. Anyway, yeah, so I've got, you know, turrets, some powered, some not powered, so that if the powered ones get knocked offline, there's still some that don't need power. These guard stations, they're added, I think, by the Vault Tech add-on, if anybody's curious about that. That exit sign comes from Nuka World. The streetlights, I think those come from Contraptions. I could be wrong about that one, I'm not sure. Alright, so in my mind, this place has lots of people living in it. Because like I said, it's connected to a much larger facility. And I don't see any reason why I wouldn't have settlers coming in here, clearing the place out, and using it as a very large, extensive living facility, the way that they would use Vault 88, you know? So, in my headcanon, there are people living here, and they all come in and work in here, in the factory. So, I have little break areas. Right, here's a little area they can hang out and play chess. Over here, you know, there's some cola machines. Hard hat, little break area there. Now I know, like I said, right upstairs there was a robot building machine, but I put one down here as well, since this is the one I could interact with and build in the workshop mode. And I put in this whole little workshop area over here. Robot repair kits, toolboxes, various robot parts, hard hats, and cabinets and whatnot. Little armory area over here. Toolbox. Another little break area over here, a little smoking area. Snack area, and then like a little food break room area over here. Upstairs, I have a stove and various cabinets. Now, if I could get away with it, I would have shelves and have everything sitting on shelves, but as many of you know from personal experience or from watching my videos, items placed on shelves tend to fall through the shelves, and it's a pain in the ass trying to constantly redo your settlement. So I have resorted to having containers and then having the containers filled with items that would be needed in a kitchen. But yeah, normally I would have like pantry shelves with a bunch of food sitting on them or whatever. Another little break area out here. So downstairs here in this little break area, see, we have for them put their dirty dishes. I put that light on there to light this up. This is a very difficult space to light. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are pretty much, like, I've stuck lights everywhere. I have every different kind of light. I put those lights there. I put those lights there. I mean, just trying to light this place up is kind of a nightmare. So I put a light there just to help light this area up. Another little, you know, seating area for the workers. They've got a Nuka Cola mixing station, a little cappuccino maker, various dispensers and whatnot. Yeah, this is one of the switches. It works the hopper, the sorter, and the energy weapons. There's a connection here. Right, the hopper, that's this thing here. You can dump stuff into it. Now, I haven't gotten too much, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of videos on YouTube of people who've gotten really into the contraption stuff and have built all kinds of conveyor belt crazy things. I didn't get so much into it. I just kind of experimented with a few things. I have the hopper here where you can go up there on the ledge and drop stuff into it. And then when you power it on, it'll spit things out to the sorter. And the sorter will take anything that has those materials, because those fiber optics, crystal, and glass specifically are needed for the energy weapons. See, there's the energy weapon forge. And none of the other forges, none of the other machines need those. So the sorter will sort out items coming out of the hopper, and anything with those materials will be sent to that machine, and anything that doesn't have those materials will go into the storage. Then if I power on this machine, the weapon forge, it'll suck out materials that are stored here, suck them in and use them as needed for making weapons, which are then stored here. But like I said, I'm going to get more into the whole, you know, how the machines work thing in the contraptions videos. Here's my little computer station. This terminal controls the energy weapons and the heavy weapons forge over there, and the hopper, and some of the other switches and things on this side. There's another terminal over here that controls the armor and the ammo and the weapon forge. See, I put a street lamp here just because it was so dark right here. Like, despite all these lights I put in, you see all these hanging light bulbs and spinning ceiling fans and all these lights, it was still like pitch black right here. I guess they can't program for actual physics because, you know, light doesn't just stop. Like, light doesn't just shine for 5 feet and then stop unless it's impeded in some way. Light, you know, keeps going. So really, all these lights over here should have easily lit up this area right here 5 feet away. But no, that's not the way it works. So I had to put in this street lamp thing, try to get this area lit up. I mean, I've even got these lights right here. You see those? That's the track lighting on there. And it still didn't light up this area. This little patch of the floor. Ugh. It's a pain in the butt. Anyway. Well, let me go ahead and turn this on just to kind of show you. Let's see what happens. See, it'll start spitting out that. Oh, and because that contains fiber optics or crystal or whatever, it's getting diverted into the energy weapons machine. If something comes through that doesn't have fiber optics or glass, see there? Okay, so that doesn't have anything, so it's going to go into this one. It dings every time it finds an item that it's diverting, that it's sorting. Anyway, that's how that works. Man, John, do you need a hug, sweetheart? He's just like right next to me. So I've got 2 power stations going. One here, one over here. I don't know if I actually need that much power, but because I've got things on 2 separate circuits, I've got 2 separate power generators. Alright, so let's go upstairs. Let's take a look at what's up here. I think I've shown you everything on the bottom floor. On the factory floor, if you will. One of my turrets. So up here, I've turned this into a little medical center. It kind of already was a medical center. Like this stuff here, I could scrap it if I wanted to. The gurney and the medical light and all that, but I left it. And I just basically expanded on a theme here, and I put my chem station up here and a doctor's desk. Little hospital bed. Like, I could scrap that if I wanted to, but I thought it was kind of cool. I've got my chems and medical supplies up here. So I left this as kind of a little medical area. Again, there's no human beings living here. I don't have an actual doctor to staff the place or anything, because you can't build, like I said, you can't build shops. You can't build a medical stand or anything like that. I don't know, it's got various clothes in there. Up here is where you can put water. No idea why. It's really weird, but you can actually put a couple of water purifiers. There's a water pump, even though I have no idea how it's pumping water out of the floor. And a regular little water pump. So there's water. Got it all wired up. And again, this is just another entrance slash exit. Goes out to a factory area of that technical building. So yeah, I turned that into like a little medical area. And then up here, I turned this into a little house for John and I, of course, because if you've watched my other settlement tour videos, you'll know that I usually put some kind of little living space for us, for the General of the Minutemen, when I'm visiting my settlements. So we've got a sink here. Don't think there's any mirrors in the workshop mode. I don't remember ever finding anything like a mirror, so I just put a little poster up with a light. Got a desk and a bed for us, and a little dresser with our goodies in it.
Plenty of folks want to make hard.
Hancock used the label maker to alter the poster a little bit. I have this funny little headcanon, this funny little thing in my mind, in my imagination. I like to imagine that Hancock loves playing with the label maker and that he puts funny little labels on things. You'll see in some of my other settlement tour videos now and then, he'll, like the little houses that we live in, sometimes he'll put an address on the front, and the address will always be 69 Hancock Way. Stuff like that. So anyway, this is just me having fun thinking that, you know, Hancock's messing around with the label maker.
Rust-proof, radiation-proof, and a lifetime supply of power. I couldn't ask for more.
So we come through here, and like I said, I left in most of the walkways that came by default. I mean, if you wanted to, you could gut this whole thing and rebuild it however you wanted, but I left a lot of it in place. And then up here, I put in an elevator, and yes, this elevator works perfectly to get right up there to the very top room. So, yeah, so that's all my machine. Now, the one machine I don't have, because I don't have the explosives perk, and I think I've got a couple of, I've got a couple of unspent perks. So if I wanted to, I could probably get the explosives perk to build the explosives machine. So that's one thing I didn't put in here. I have a fireworks machine at one of my other settlements out on Far Harbor, and we'll see that one when I do the Far Harbor settlement tours. But yeah, so this, we don't have explosives here, but we have all the other weapons and ammo and whatnot. Alright, so let's see, let's go up to the 4th floor. But yeah, you know, you could gut this place and put in these elevators and, you know, have a pretty extensive settlement. Except, of course, you're going to run out of hotbar really quick. See, I've already got my hotbar almost all full up. But like I said, I'm on PS4 without mods, so if you're on PC, there's probably ways to build anything you want, I'm sure. So this little area up here, there's another entrance slash exit to the rest of the facility, which is not part of the workshop. See, if I go into workshop mode, there's the green border. If I step through, then I'm no longer in the workshop area. So I put a wall up with a powered door for security. This is where the bathroom is. because my settlements always have bathrooms. And these are just offices. This is just, you know, bookkeeping, paperwork, whatever. Security. That's a security desk from the Vault-Tec workshop. There's another entrance / exit to another part of the larger factory that we are in. So there you go. That's the Mechanist Lair. That's what I've done with it. I know a lot of people say, what in the heck can you do with Mechanist Lair? Oh, wrong floor button. Duh, I'm on the 4th floor. Let's push number 1. There we go. What can you do with the Mechanist Lair? Well, that's what I did. For better or worse, it's not terribly exciting. It's probably my least favorite settlement. I don't know. I mean, I kind of started enjoying it once I got into my own story in my own head about, you know, okay, this is where the Minutemen are going to manufacture all these things. And I will say that it takes a lot of materials if you're going to manufacture. And so being centrally located like this seems to make sense. I mean, I take a lot of trips over to the railroad to Tinker Tom, a lot of trips to Good Neighbor to see, what's his name? Is it Rufus? Ruben, whatever his name is, and Cleo and Daisy, and a lot of trips to Diamond City to see Arturo, because if you're going to manufacture weapons and armor, you're going to need tons of ballistic fiber, screws, things like that. And so, you know, it makes a lot of sense. And then, of course, Bunker Hill right here is the sort of central caravan spot. So, you know, it just seemed to make sense to me to put a manufacturing hub right here to make things for the Minutemen. And since you can't really have a lot of settlers here, like I was saying earlier, just seemed like the thing to do. Now you can build, I should say, let's look here. You can build, strangely enough, you can put a caravan stop in here. And that would be interesting. I thought about it, and then I decided against it. But if I put a caravan spot, you know, I guess the caravans would come in, and then those would be somebody you could trade with, since you can't build actual shops or a bar or anything here. But I didn't put one in. I guess, you know, in my mind, if they were actually going to come here, they wouldn't come all the way down into the factory. They would deal with people up closer to the surface. Like, you know, we'd have that office up there that I came through would be operating, and that's where they would drop off all their stuff for us or whatever. I don't know. But I didn't end up putting the caravan trading spot in here. But you can. I'm just saying you can if you want to.
So you got a ride of choice? I'm usually a mentat school myself.
You know you're my right of choice, John. Alright, so there you go. Mechanist Lair. I think I've shown you everything. It seems like every time I do one of these tours, there's always something I forgot to show you. So I'm just trying to think in my mind if I've gone over everything that I did in here. I think I have. So there you go. I've finally done the Mechanist Lair tour. My next tour will be out in Far Harbor, because that was the next add-on that I got, and there are 4 settlements out there. So those will be the next 4 settlements that I tour in my settlement tour series. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed seeing my Mechanist Lair. And we'll see you next time.